Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
Mas glowing and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair young and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian and My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Last 7.
And we're live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our Zoom participants. And good afternoon to our FB Live viewers. So, welcome to another e-learning session powered by Ariva Academy. This is Irish Malonda Samson, your host. And with me, joining me, is my co-host and moderator, Mr. Howell V. Mabalot. Hello, sir.
Evening, Madam President, Irishman on the Samson, and to all our participants from all parts of the world.
Yes. So moving on, I'd like to acknowledge first our participants from out of the country. So we have participants Sir Howell from Hong Kong, India. We have participants from Malaysia, Nepal, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Tunisia.
Exciting. That's really exciting.
Yes, and in order for us to have a smooth flow of the e-learning session, here are the house rules. So what should you do in the webinar? For those of you who are first time here, so type in the chat box, hi and hello. So let me see, type in now, hi and hello. Okay, there you go. And to listen, you will be needing a good quality headsets. We want to know if you can hear us loud and clear. So we have this following codes. Type 111 to show that you can hear us loud and clear. May I see? Okay, loud and clear. So 222 means you can hear us. And 2121 means the sound is breaking up or there's a log. And question mark if you don't understand anything. Okay, so all of them, 111. So loud and clear. Moving on, we will be having a short break after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer. For the question and answer guidelines, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click raise button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Type in your questions at the Q&A box. Again, at the Q&A box, one question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your comments, ideas, suggestions in order for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. And let's start. To discuss better decision-making and understanding the global reactions to COVID-19 using neuroscience. We have invited you as certified neuro coach, and Sir Howell, please do the honors of introducing our guest speaker.
Thank you so much, Madam President, Michelle Irish Malonda Samson. It definitely is an honor for me to introduce our this person is a person who can bring value into our lives for the next hour or so. Our speaker for today is a US certified professional in both the fields of neuroscience and neuro-linguistic programming or NLP. Over the years, he has spoken in numerous international conferences in London, Bangkok, Tokyo, and in Melbourne. And all of those talks are about the topic neuroscience and its applications. At present, he heads his own management consulting firm, which offers strategic planning and insighting, business and industry analysis, training and organizational development, marketing and branding support, and executive coaching to client companies and individuals. Friends, sit back and prepare to have your lives and minds amplified. And let's all welcome the US certified neuroscience coach, Sir Ben Ampil. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Howell. Thank you very much, Irish.
Thank you so much, sir.
Everyone for making the time to join us in this webinar. I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Henry David Thoreau once said, "It is not important what you look at. What's more important is what you see."
I agree. It's how you see it.
What are you looking at right now? If you're watching the webinar, you might be holding your phones, you might be watching a laptop. It's not important what you're looking at. What do you see? Personally, when I was invited to be a part of this auspicious event, I didn't hesitate because I saw empathy, I saw compassion, I saw caring for mankind.
And we thank you for that, sir.
We have all been through the ringer. All of us have been stuck in our houses for the past month. We don't even know what the future holds. So after this seminar, after this webinar, I hope that you will not focus on what you look at, but you will focus on what you see.
We're excited already, sir. So take it away. The platform is yours.
Thank you very much, Howell. So as Howell's mentioned, and as Iris has mentioned, the title of our webinar is The Neuroscience of Decision-Making and Understanding COVID-19 Behavior. All of us have been glued to the news and even social media, and we have been inundated 24/7 by just negativity. If we are to continue on that path, we would be nervous wrecks before the ECQ is lifted. I have to make a disqualifier. This decision-making topic is not about problem-solving and decision-making, although we will be touching on that. First of all, I'd like to start with a poll. How do you feel? What emotions would best describe and summarize how you have felt in the past ECQ period? Please type in your answers now. I see people saying happy. I see people saying sad. And I see people saying neutral. My answer to you is this. I feel like I need to get a haircut because the reality is I cannot do it on my own. But the bottom line is we all have our own pains to bear with. People are despaired. We all know somebody who knows somebody who was affected directly by COVID. The cardiologist of my beloved mother passed away because of COVID. That's as close as COVID can be for my family. So in as much as I don't know him personally, he's the person who keeps my beloved mother alive. And he gave his life up because of being a frontliner for COVID. So despair, stress, and sadness is clearly there. But I have good news for everybody. Do you realize that you have survived 100% of all of your worst days? So March 12 was when the ECQ was imposed. You have survived 100% of all of your bad days. And if history will be guided, you will survive continuing on. There's a saying that says, old ways don't open new doors. The things that we planned for moving into 2020 when we were making our strategic plans in 2019 did not carry COVID-19. Everybody was looking forward for great business plans, great opportunities, innovations. Clearly, those old ways now will not open new doors. But I have news for you. Historically, a pandemic like COVID is not the first time to happen in mankind. Back in the 1840s in Vienna, there was this disease called childbed fever. What happens was mothers giving birth fell ill, and after giving birth, they would die. What a sad thing to happen. You just gave birth, one of the most joyful experiences in a mother's life, and you would die. And there was a Hungarian physician named Ignaz Semmelweis who sought out to find out what was going on. In Vienna General Hospital, that was a school hospital. They taught upcoming medical students how to be graduated students. Apparently, there were two wards that were catering to childbearing. The first ward was attended fully by male physicians. These are licensed physicians and they're male student doctors. The second ward was handled by female midwives. Now, midwives, as you know, are capable in basic safety, but they are not licensed medical doctors. So he went about to pursue hypothesis, and he wanted to find out what was causing the high mortality rate among childbearing women. His first guess was, did the position of the mothers as they gave birth have any bearing on the death? Were people inclined to the left? Were people lying on their back? And apparently not, because there was commonality in Ward A and Ward B. His second theory was, did the mothers experience embarrassment from being examined by male patients and male doctors? And apparently the answer was also no. So Dr. Semmelweis was perplexed. How come 98% of the people, the mothers bearing children, were dying immediately after childbirth? And then one day he realized that Vienna General Hospital is a school hospital. In the mornings, classes were taught. In the mornings, the medical teachers and their students were in the morgue. They were busy analyzing and studying autopsies, cadavers, and washing hands was not involved back then. So after the morning session, they would eat lunch. After lunch, they would proceed to the wards and to continue delivering babies. So you could just imagine the cadaver-filled, germ-filled hands that would now proceed to perform childbearing rites on Ward A. This is the one staffed by medical doctors. Ward B, the one staffed by female midwives, did not suffer a high mortality rate. That's where we came up with antiseptic theory. And coincidentally, right now, all of us are very well versed in hand washing. 20 seconds, saying happy birthday twice. If not for the 1840 experience in Vienna General Hospital, we would not be carrying hand sanitizers, we would not be stocking up on alcohol and disinfectants, and we would still be experiencing a lot of death. Again, old ways, the ways they thought before that washing hands was not important, would not open new doors. It was only until they realized that they had to change their mindset that they were able to cure the high mortality rate of childbearing women dying, and things normalized back then. Now we have a webinar, and I've been speaking to my friends globally. Webinar is the thing in vogue right now. Everybody and their uncle does it, but there's something about e-learning. When you do communication via this mode, you lose 20% of your energy right off the bat. That's why if you notice, theatrical actors exaggerate their actions, exaggerate their diction, exaggerate their movements. That is the challenge presented to us by a webinar platform. But in order to make things easy for you, you will remember this 60-minute webinar by just focusing on three things. Just three things. And mind you, we're talking about neuroscience. The first thing is that just remember Batman. So if you're beside your child right now, you would be screaming, Mommy, Mommy, remember Batman. The second one is remember Kentucky Fried Chicken. And right now we are all home-based and we are reliant on food deliveries. This might be our favorite food right now. And lastly, remember Spark. So just three things. Remember Batman, remember KFC, remember Scarf, and this entire neuroscience webinar, you will remember tomorrow and 6 months from now. And memory, there's a hack. You have to associate all of the elements into a moving picture. So imagine Batman walking toward the KFC store, ordering a bucket of chicken, and then the cashier attending to him wraps around his neck a scarf. Again, imagine Batman walking into a KFC store, ordering a bucket of chicken, and then the cashier attending to him wrapping around his neck a scarf. Just three things: neuroscience, decision making, being able to understand the global reactions to COVID-19 all boils down to everybody, Batman, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Scarf.
And scarf.
Imagine Batman going to the store, a KFC store, ordering a bucket of chicken, and then the cashier attending to him wraps a scarf around him. Batman. Neuroscience sounds very daunting. I wouldn't even use it in Scrabble. But neuroscience can easily be understood by just thinking of Batman. Neuroscience is the study of the brain, and how the brain acts, and how the brain thinks. In order for you to be able to manage your thoughts, and actions. Again, neuroscience is just Batman. So if somebody talks to you tomorrow, they have been encountering in Google and in online sites. Neuroscience, what is it all about? You say, Batman. B, it's a study of the brain. And A, how your brain acts and how your brain thinks, so that you and I would be able to manage our thoughts and actions. Do you realize that your brain defines who you are? Your actions define your character. Your thoughts form your habits. Our brains are very powerful, just like Batman, yet we do not know how to manage it. So again, neuroscience is just Batman. It is the study of B, the brain, how the brain acts, A, how the brain thinks, so that we would be able to manage our actions and thoughts and therefore lead better lives. Next is KFC. Neuroscience is again connected to KFC. And KFC is actually a coaching template. Mental wellness is a growing pandemic. Research has been coming out every day in the news that when the post-COVID era comes, mental wellness will be the next challenge. Everybody has been through the rigor and stress on a prolonged time as they beset us. So what is KFC? K, you must know your desired outcome. What is your plan when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a plan? Is it wake up, make coffee, dress up, work, play with the dog, go back to sleep, repeat? If that is your routine, I feel sad for you because the ECQ will come and pass and you would not have gained anything from it. You must be purposeful, you must be intentional. K, know your desired outcome. And F, get feedback. Are you moving closer toward your desired outcome? I want to make a distinction. What is the difference between a goal and an outcome? A goal is an activity. An outcome is a result. Most of us are obsessed with goals. Be obsessed instead with outcomes. Those are end results. So rather than I will go to the gym and stay on the treadmill, I will lose weight. Losing weight is all encompassing. It's not limited to the treadmill. You can eat a more nutritious diet and you can do other things. So be outcome oriented. So again, K, know your desired outcome. F, get feedback. Are you moving closer toward your desired outcome? And C, not change what you're doing. Do anything but do something. The main problem with people is they just don't do anything. Nothing's working, so they just stay on status quo. No, do anything but do something. And then that do something that you're doing, get feedback. If it's not bringing you closer to your outcome, change. Again, do anything but do something. Get results. So KFC, neuroscience is intentional. Neuroscience is purposeful. We're not studying about the brain just so that we will have stock knowledge. We're studying about the brain so that you will be empowered to live your best lives. And lastly, SCARF, our brains program for survival. I repeat, my brain, your brain is programmed for survival. It's not programmed to make us happy. It's not programmed to make us peaceful. It is programmed to keep us alive. And this was born from the evolution from the cavemen. They had no food. They had to invent fire. They had no Netflix. They just wanted to stay alive. So our brains is self-preserving. It is designed to keep us alive. And there are things that trigger threats. Our brains are always on the lookout. It's like on a radar. It's looking, is this a threat? Is this a threat? And if a threat is deemed, even though it's not a real threat, then your brain starts on reaction mode, on defensive mode. You have heard of the 3Fs. Your brain freezes, your brain flights, or your brain fights. So we need to know what are the 5 dimensions that trigger this response reactions. S is status. Are you challenging someone's status? We are now often on online conferences. The way we speak even though we speak the same language, may be lost in translation because of technology. If I say to Howell, Howell, do you know what you're doing? It is a very innocent question. Yet to Howell, he might think I am challenging his status. And from where he's sitting, his brain will go, threat, and I will go into freeze, flight, or fight. Next is certainty. Our brain craves for certainty. Is anything certain right now? Do you know what will happen tomorrow? Because of uncertainty, we are all under stress. So, for example, you're selling, sales must go on, life must go on. If you're selling a product to a client via online conferencing, and then your client says, we are under quarantine, what guarantee do I have that you would be able to deliver on your promises? Give something that is certain. I assure you, sir, we have had a long history of partnership. We have a very good logistics support. Push comes to shove, I will be the one to deliver it to you myself. Give him certainty. Other people might say, I don't know. Certainty will evoke that you don't know what's happening and it will make your brain defensive. Next is autonomy. Autonomy is you want to be able to give people the power to decide for themselves. So micromanaging, which is a practice back then in the before work from home status, micromanaging actually questions the integrity of your survival mechanism. Therefore, you become defensive. It is not productive. And next is relatedness, social distancing. Our brain is a social creature. We crave connections. That's why when we're forced not to be able to connect, we become stressed. What is the application? Whenever you do online conferences, make sure all the necessary people are involved. Often because we don't see them, we inadvertently leave them out. Next is fairness. Make sure that what you're doing is fair. Otherwise, if you yourself are treated unfairly, then your brain, which is programmed for survival, will think that there's something that will happen to your welfare. And then you will again respond with freezing, flighting, or fighting. So neuroscience is SCARF. Just remember that. We'll go through it again. So it's that easy. Mommy, if your son would ask you what's neuroscience, it's Batman. It's B, the study of the brain and how it A thinks, and A, how it acts, C, how it thinks, so that you can manage your brain, your actions and thoughts. KFC is a coaching mechanism which allows your brain to be intentional. K, know your desired outcome. Your desired outcome. Do not be pushed by the outcomes of your neighbor. That's their problem. What is your desired outcome? Know your desired outcome. F, get feedback. Are you getting closer toward the desired outcome? And then C, if you're not getting closer, change your actions. Do anything but do something and then repeat. Get feedback if you're actually going closer toward your desired actions. SCARF, these are the 5 dimensions that trigger your brain, which is designed for survival, to act violently, defensively. We all know that if you are interacting with somebody who's guarded, then your chances for success diminishes significantly. So make sure that you do not challenge, you do not poke. SCARF. S is status, C is certainty, A is autonomy, R is relatedness, F is fairness. You remember these things? Batman going to a KFC store, ordering a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the cashier wrapping a scarf around him. That is the essence of neuroscience. We will discuss decision making, how the brain makes decisions, and we will also discuss, have you ever wondered the weird actions of the world leaders of that regarding a very critical issue such as a pandemic? It is all because of mental biases. So again, pandemics are not the first time that happened. Now imagine that the pandemic happened and we are stuck in the jungle. We are stuck with animals and it's us. Who do you think will survive? We're not the strongest. The elephant might be stronger than us. We're not the fastest. The cheetah can run faster than us. We're not the tallest. The giraffe is taller than us. We cannot swim fast. We cannot camouflage ourselves. We cannot fly. Yet historically, you remember mighty creatures. They're called dinosaurs. And yet they are extinct. We will survive by virtue of our brains. Our brains are the most important organ we have because it determines our bodily functions, our reasoning activity, and our emotions. Our brains are are better than the other features. The prefrontal, the one that looks like a curved finger, prefrontal cortex, this is the one that is responsible for creative thinking. We have the biggest prefrontal cortex by volume. Our PFC, prefrontal cortex, occupies 30% of our entire brain. The closest, everybody take a guess, the chimpanzee. The chimpanzee's prefrontal cortex occupies by volume 17%. So you know how come they behave akin to the behavior of human beings. The prefrontal cortex, the one in front of our brain, determines our creativity, our logic, our reasoning. Now, why do we act irrationally? Because we have another part called the emotional brain, which acts instantaneously, and it is just looking out not for reason, but in ways to protect you against threats. If you had a car, such as the one you see right now, and you want to improve it, would you give it a paint job or would you change its engine? I actually gave this talk in Bangkok. I was invited to keynote a conference on beauticians, the people who do cosmetic surgery. I spoke about the neuroscience of beauty. I spoke about the neuroscience of beauty. What's the world up to now? And I said, if you had a car such as you see now, and you want to improve it, you want to make it function like a car, would you give it a paint job, such as cosmetic surgery, or would you improve its engine? You and I know the answer is we should improve its engine. Guess what? Our brain is our engine. It is not our face. We can actually make ourselves younger than we are, but we will not act any better because our face does not fit. So again, Batman, the study of the brain and how it acts and thinks so that you and I would be able to manage our actions and thoughts. Wine, just to give you, neuroscience seems so far-fetched, but it's actually been around for over a century. It's just that technology in the last 5 years has enabled us to learn more about the brain than we have had in the entire history of mankind. How do you make wine? Wine is a very artistic but scientific method. I will show a clip that will show you how neuroscience is now being used to make the finest wines. wine brand, is a connoisseur. He's the third generation. He spent all of his life understanding the nuances of winemaking. He knows it by art. And somebody said, introduce science to it. fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging. We know this. When you go to the hospital, they do it. But what it does is it measures the oxygen and the blood flow in your brain. So, for example, you drink something and it lights up the pleasure area, then the blood and the oxygen will go to that area, and you would be able to know. If you ask somebody qualitatively via a handwritten question, do you like it? They would put something, but they don't have the benefit of the people knowing real time how your brain's behaving. You also saw eye tracking devices. This is very important in branding. You will know, the brand people will know where the consumers are looking at, what they like, what they don't like. You also saw biometrics. They will take your pulse, your temperature, your heartbeat, the way you breathe. So this is all complete science. You cannot defeat and you cannot challenge the reactions of your body. I have another news for you. Do you know that the pain area that is associated with social rejection, yung mga na-break dyan, those who are suffering a breakup, and the pain area associated with physical pain are the same. I repeat, the brain area which reacts to social pain, heartbreaks, being ostracized, being left out, being lonely, is the very same pain area that lights up when you have physical pain. So if you are counseling somebody who is just going through a breakup, you know the best way and an easy way that you can help them? Tell them to take paracetamol. I kid you not. Because if you are suffering a social discomfort, you realize that your chest tightens, your shoulder is stressed, your neck is also painful, because the very same area which affects the physical pain is also the same area that is affecting the social pain. Without neuroscience, we wouldn't have known this. Again, I said, in the past 5 years, we have learned more about the brain than we have had in the past entire history of man because of technology. I have a secret to tell you. 95% of the decisions you make are subconscious. I repeat, 95% of all the decisions you make are subconscious. Wherever you are, I ask you, how does your chair feel? And you go, feels okay, but do you realize that until I pointed it out to you and brought it to consciousness, you were just sitting on that chair, you had a sensation about it, but you were not aware of it. You were not conscious of it. 95% of our decisions are made subconsciously. Everybody work with me. Howell, I'll use you as, you're the only one I see, but everybody else in the global space, please cross your arms.
Yes.
Howell, if I can request
Yes.
you close your arms. Now, I'll be speaking to Howell because I have him on screen. Everybody else, cross your arms. Howell,
Cross your arms.
are your arms left over right or right over left?
My arms, it's left over right.
Now, was that a conscious decision? Was there any
It's not. I automatically
Exactly.
do this.
Right. We cannot remember a time in our lives from birth, and then we said,
From
at
birth.
this point, whenever I am told to cross my arms, it will be left over right. Howard, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I am right-handed.
Right. So as you can see, this has no correlation between right-handedness and right over left. Now,
Okay.
Howell, you look like an intelligent person. Actually, people, I know Howell, we come from the same industry. Management consultants and speakers don't come any better than Mr. Howell himself.
Naku
So
naman,
please-
salamat po.
So please do send him a thank you message when this webinar ends. Howell, you are very intelligent. You are right now crossing your arms left over right. Can you do it reverse?
Yes. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Now, you and I would know that left over right, right over left, it is easy. How come we're having a difficult time? And guys, I don't know you. I know something about you. The way you wear your shirt, it's the same. Either you put your right hand first, left hand. The way you wear your pants, the way you tie your shoes are all governed by that program. And there was nowhere in your entire lifetime, lifeline of your history, that you said, I will do this. It is subconscious. So it's something as small and trivial as crossing your arms. It's actually governed by subconsciousness. Imagine the bigger things.
Wow.
It's because of, we can think of an iceberg. An iceberg, we can say only 10% is seen, visible, conscious, and 90% is submerged. We don't see it, but we know it's there, subconscious. Do you know that our conscious brain can take 40 bits? These are similar to computer units, bits and bytes, 40 bits per second. Our subconscious brain can take 40 million bits.
Wow.
40 million bits per second.
Million
So
bits.
what are we to do? What are we to do? Our brain is overwhelmed. Our brain is assaulted by so much sensory information. I would tell you now, wherever you are, friends, there are a lot of smells going on. Either there's air freshener, either if you're watching this with friends, you can smell the scent of somebody. If someone's cooking in the nearby kitchen, you can smell that. But do you know that you are not conscious of them? You're only conscious of the smell that you're prioritizing right now. The same with your uh, gustatory, eating, olfactory, smelling, and all the other senses. You are assaulted with 40 million bits of information, yet your mind, your brain, cannot handle it. Our brain occupies 2% of our total body weight. So if you're a typical person, it might weigh 3 pounds. 2% of your entire body weight, yet it consumes 20% of all of your caloric intake.
Wow.
The brain is a gas guzzler. It is not an energy efficient organ. It only weighs so little, but it takes 20% of your entire caloric intake. And your brain's processing capability is not limitless. It's not like your computer that you can run the whole day through. It can only run for about 2-3 hours optimally per day. The question is, are you running them on activities that deserve optimal processing power? What do you normally do when you enter the office, back in the work in the office, before the ECQ? You would sit down, boot your computer, and check your emails. You're actually using primary computing power to do a very rudimentary job of checking your emails. Also, prior to neuroscience, they thought that the brain is hardwired. What does that mean? They thought that the brain that you were born with doesn't change, and it's the brain that you will die with. Because of technology, they found out that our brain is actually softwired. It is like modeling clay.
Wow.
They had a patient that lost half his brain from an accident. He was still kept alive, but the brain that was responsible for hand movement was destroyed. What they did was they trained the remaining half of the brain, which is not capable of hand movement, to learn the skill.
Wow.
Now is ambidextrous. So your brain is softwired. You can change. Your brain yesterday can be a different brain tomorrow. It is up to you. It is a concept referred to as neuroplasticity. You can erase and you can draw. You can craft your brain. And do you know what are the primary elements of neuroplasticity? Batman. Brain,
Wow.
actions, and thoughts. If you keep on thinking of an action often enough, your brain gets wired. If you keep on thinking of a thought often enough, your brain gets wired. Let's be saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend your time around with. There's truth to that with neuroplasticity. Because if you just spend time with people who are always writing about negativity, that thought process keeps on going to your brain. Imagine trying to, back in the day, you would sharpen a paper clip using a magnet. You would keep on scratching it, and because of that frequency of scratching, the magnet would get the magnetism, the paper clip would get the magnetism of the magnet. It's similar here. So be careful about what you think of, be careful about what you do. What are we spending our time right now with? We're watching the news 24 by 7, and there's no good news. What is that doing to your brain? So my tip to you as your friend, stop watching the news for 2 days. If they find a vaccine tomorrow, you will find out about it because your friends will start telling you. Just turn off the TV, listen to good music, watch a funny film. But the more you keep on doing the same thing, the more your brain will get molded to it. The good news is if you keep on doing a good thing, if you're practicing gratitude, if every morning you say good morning to somebody, you extend the heart of kindness, you're grateful, your brain becomes wired for that. Neuroplasticity. Your brain can change, therefore you can change. There's no such thing as a helpless and a hopeless person. Time magazine said that Einstein is the person of the century. He had one very famous formula, which we all know to be E is equal to MC squared. Now, this is actually a good mnemonic for how we can imbibe neuroscience behavior. E is for emotions. Our brain can only do 6 things. Our 5 emotions and self-talk. I repeat, our brain can only do 6 things. Our 5 emotions, that is vision, seeing, auditory, hearing, kinesthetic, touching, and then olfactory, smelling, gustatory, eating. 5 senses, and the last is self-talk. You have 5 senses which are facts. You cannot change them. Your self-talk is the one that is used to assign meaning to them. That's why Howard and I can have the same 5 senses of equality. But my self-talk and his self-talk, the meaning we assign to them may be different. And that creates emotions. Now, your emotions would not become hard. They become memories. Emotions are the ones that are created by 5 senses and your self-talk. You can choose your emotions. Just because somebody did not greet you doesn't mean you have to feel slighted. Just because somebody slapped you doesn't mean you have to feel offended. It is contra-logical, but it's not impossible. Your emotions now creates memories. Imagine that you went to a fast food store and the cashier treated you poorly. What memory will you have? You will be averse to going back to that. And what does that do? It creates character choices. So again, we have only 6 things we can do with our brain. 5 senses, self-talk. Self-talk is the meaning we ascribe the 5 senses. Your emotions create memories. Memories are the basis for our decisions. How well any decision you make is based on a memory. For example, you had a bad experience with mobile brand X, and then somebody asks you, would you recommend that? Because of your memory, you would say no. That's your character choice. And the more your emotions repeating themselves, neuroplasticity, the harder your memories will be, the stronger your character choices will become. This is a typewriter. Howell and I didn't reach this. Only our parents. The funny part about this is that unlike the modern word processors now, it is limited in font choices. Now, if you were to write a job application, and this is true because I do career coaching, guys, if you were to write a digital job application, these are the fonts that are highly recommended by HR practitioners. Serif and sans serif. Those who are taking pictures of this, we know what their next moves will be. Now, what if you have 2 candidates who are equally talented, except the second candidate sent your resume using the following font, perhaps Ravi. Now, remember, your emotion will say, this guy is not taking this job application seriously. It might bring you to a memory of taking another person, making a poor recruitment choice, and having to pay for it because he's now a regular and you have to carry him through. So because of emotions, which created a memory, your character decision is reject. It's similar to this when you go to a Chinese restaurant. All of the tea came from the same teapot, yet we would be happier drinking the one with a more ornate and elegant cup. Experience is subjective. Now, how do we sell alcohol in the Philippines? How about you don't have to answer, but I can read it. What do they give the alcohol manufacturers in order to promote alcohol in the Philippines? They give calendars.
True.
Watch how Budweiser, following E is equal to MC squared, emotions create memories, which create character choices. Watch what Budweiser does. There's no audio, but you can get the story from
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. And when I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. Just to be with thousand miles to fall down at your door.
Wow.
So it's like you were so emotional that you had to grab on something like this giraffe. They had there was no audio, but you can tell the story. The dog got lost. He jumped into the horse carriage and he got lost. And the owner was so perturbed. He did everything he could to retrieve the dog. And when he found it, his life was again complete. The only similarity that commercial has with local commercials, and I am a very apolitical person, they both had horses. Except in our commercials, guess what they wear when they ride the horses. So you can Budweiser selling beer capitalized on an emotion, affinity, love, commitment, odor. And now that brings a memory. And what kind of choice would you get? Character choices. What kind of beer will you buy? Budweiser. And that's how we do neuromarketing these days. It's memorable. We don't want to create robotic movements. Memories, emotions are personal. It's up to you. That's where the self-talk comes in. Now we go to a brain. This is very, very quick. This is not a medical school. There are only two parts of the brain that we will be discussing. If you close your fist, you can see something that looks like the brain. So that is the prefrontal cortex, the one in front of your brain. Now if you open your hand, this is just an illustration, it's the back, and you put your thumb inside and you close it, that is the reactive brain. So the amygdala is inside your thumb, you close it, that is the prefrontal cortex. Those are the two dominant parts of the brain that actually is involved with decision making, with biases, and with our behavior. This is the way we analyze them. The amygdala, the thumb, which is inside, it's emotional. It happens very quickly because it is designed to keep you safe. It's always on the lookout for threats. Howell, have you ever wondered about the viral videos of a surgeon who was caught in a road rage and he started?
Oh yeah.
No names.
No names, but I believe that doctor has, compromised his license.
And then there's also this prosecutor.
Yes.
Who wanted 5 minutes. Now,
highly educated and yet behaving badly.
Exactly. Prefrontal cortex is analytical. Surgeon, prosecutor. And yet, when
And yet,
they perceived danger, they perceived that they
they
were
became
being threatened,
emotional.
they became emotional. And what
True.
happened? They froze. They were flight or fight. They chose to
And
fight.
mhm.
Now, the prefrontal cortex is analytical. It is the one that makes us think. It is the one that gives us the reason. The problem is this: the amygdala reacts instinctively. You have
Mhm.
heard your mother says, if you're angry, count to 10. That has neuroscience basis because your
Mhm.
amygdala has a 10-second lead time. And it's a
Mhm.
10 second that's long, 1001,
Yeah.
1002. So your amygdala has a 10-second lead time before your prefrontal cortex kicks
Could
in.
process and analyze
So
things.
imagine you were the prosecutor and you were angry because apparently, according to the story, the
Mhm.
guy threw something at his car.
And
When he
that's
was
his version
angry,
of truth.
yes. And then he started counting 1001,
Mhm.
1002. Then he says it will be covered by insurance. Perhaps the guy is
Mhm.
rushing. No, this is a joke. I had a friend who ticked me off. So I was angry. And he knew I was a neuroscience coach.
Mm.
I was counting. Then he started to make peace. And I go, stop, stop. I'm still at number 7. We can finish to 10. Then we can talk. So the
Okay.
amygdala, the thumb that is covered, it's hidden, it's actually between your ears. It is instinctive. It reacts to threat. It is
Mhm.
designed to worry. That's why Howell, if
Mhm.
you worry, it's not your fault. It is your default.
It's
I
your
repeat that
default.
worrying is not our fault. It is our default. What can we do?
Wow. I
Six
like
things.
that.
5 senses, self-talk. Make your self-talk depend on the prefrontal cortex, which is
Mhm.
analytical.
Mhm.
So the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, if it perceives a threat, real or imagined, it goes into fight mode. So amygdala, if it sees a cobra, it will not stop and do a SWOT analysis. What are my
Mm.
strengths? What are my weaknesses? It will just
Yeah.
go into reactive mode.
Mhm.
Howell, 17 times 24, 5
So
seconds.
that's so that's the
That
time
is
you will get your calculator.
that is prefrontal cortex because
Mhm.
now it requires
Analytic.
analysis and creative thinking and patience. So we see that our brains, even though they're connected, they have their own characteristics. The
Mhm.
amygdala, the one that is reactive instinctively, the emotional brain has more impact on your decisions
Mhm.
than your logical brain. I repeat, your emotional brain has more impact on your decisions than your thinking brain.
Mhm.
Now that you're aware of it, you can now say, amygdala, I will count to 10. Buy yourself,
Mhm.
now with the wearables, with the cell phones, buy a countdown timer. And then you say, 10 now, I'm still angry at you, get out of my way. But the point is, you now know that you're no longer at the mercy of your genetic programming. Our
Wow.
brain is programmed to make us survive. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that, except survival. It does not distinguish between a real threat and an imagined threat.
Mhm.
So again, Batman, KFC, and Scarf. We said that KFC is being intentional. We must all know our desired outcomes. We must get feedback.
Mhm.
Iba naman is you have a desired outcome, but you keep on doing it with you're oblivious to the feedback, whether
Mhm.
you're reaching it or not. And then if you're not getting the results, change your action. Friends,
Mhm.
do anything but do something. People are stuck with doing nothing. Do
Mhm.
anything but do something and then get feedback again. And
Yes.
if you're doing something, it's not making you reach your desired outcome, then do anything but do something. So we want to get results.
Mhm.
This social distancing is bad for the brain because the brain is a social feature. Do not take social distancing to the wild extent and go to the moon. Oh, well, that's a joke.
You know what? But yeah.
Okay, so just remember 3 things again about the webinar, friends. Batman,
KFC.
neuroscience is B, the study of the brain. That A is about how it acts and T things so you can manage your actions and behaviors. KFC is K, know your outcome. F, get
Mhm.
feedback. C, change your action if you're not getting your desired outcome, scarf. These are the triggers that make the amygdala the incredible hub. If you do reference, and I will use Howell again as an example.
Keep using me as an example, Coach.
So S is status. If I challenge the status of Howell, Howell, ang pangit naman ng your suit looks old. Can't you do anything better? Then his status is challenged. Certainly, Howell, I don't know when I could engage your services again. Hey, autonomy. Howell, I have a project for you, but I will make all the decisions. Relatedness. Howell, I'm throwing a big party. I'm inviting everybody. I'll tell you all about it when it's done, meaning you're not invited. Fairness. Howell, I will treat everybody kindly except you. So if you touch on the scarf, you will trigger the amygdala.
Yes.
Be a raging buck. And we know that will make you viral. And you don't want that to happen.
I don't want that to happen.
So again, status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, fairness. Now, friends, you might be wondering how come I have this fingertip knowledge. I live and breathe neuroscience. Ask my wife. Whenever we have a disagreement, she says, "Wag mo akong neuroscience." So again, it's because our conscious brain can only take 40 bits. The conscious brain can take 40 million bits. And our prefrontal cortex, as we mentioned, the processing power is limited. What does it do? It resolves to biases. Now, what's a bias? A bias is just a systematic pattern of deviation from otherwise resolved rational judgment. It is your brain's way of taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
40 million bits of information. I don't have the time, nor the patience, nor the energy. I'm going to take shortcuts.
Yeah.
I'm going to go direct to the point. Those are biases.
Okay.
And these are example of biases. There are actually 150 biases known, identified by behavioral psychiatrists. McKinsey and Company, the #1 consulting firm in the world, when they onboard you, they subject you to a debiasing seminar. Because they are tasked with making plans and solutions for their clients. They cannot afford that their associates are biased. So they force their associates to undergo a year-long debiasing seminar. Now, let's have some examples about COVID-19. Some biases, bandwagon effect, we're familiar with this. We socially conform and follow the crowd. What's an example? Hoarding. Why don't you hoard during non-COVID days? Because you don't see people hoarding. So what photograph in the news wherein they seem to be having a fiesta? They were not following social distancing, no mask. So when people comply, you would tend to comply. When people do not comply, you would tend to follow suit. So bandwagon effect is a reason why many of the illogical decisions are being followed, because we follow the herd mentality. Another one is anchoring bias. Anchoring is we focus on the initial information we receive, and we're slow to react when new information comes. Example, COVID or coronavirus was discovered middle of December last year in Wuhan. Alam na natin, it was all over the news. Yet anchoring bias says, it is just in China. They locked down Wuhan. It's not as dangerous as it is. That's why the decision to order PPEs and ventilators were made belatedly. And these are crucial elements to keep COVID critical patients alive. Next is confirmation bias. And again, these are just some biases out of the 150 biases that are around. We search and pay more attention to information that would support our views. We want something that confirms our views. So, for example, how will have you
if I may interrupt you for a while, can you come closer to the laptop, sir? Because some of our viewers can hardly hear you po.
All right, sige. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
In closing, I'm kidding.
Ayan, malinaw na po.
All right, got it. So, confirmation bias. How well have you heard of the news about if you eat bananas, you would get the flu?
And everybody hoarded bananas.
Right.
And it created artificial shortage.
And then also, if you gargle your mouth with seawater.
Yeah. And those are fake news.
Right. No, but again, they may be fake news, but if it confirms what you want to believe.
Okay, so it's all about the belief system.
So the solution is go to a source that's reliable, like the CDC Center for Disease Control or Dr. Fauci, the one we see in the internet and CNN every time.
Yes.
Another one is exponential growth bias. Now, life goes on linearly. We walk in straight lines. We don't walk in hyperbolic. We're not superheroes. Exponential growth bias says we tend to refuse to understand any behavior that does not proceed linearly.
Okay.
That's why we couldn't understand how come social distancing is important. Not that the curve is an exponential mathematical model. And it only took us when deaths were already rising, reaching the peak, for us to embrace it. Now everybody knows that the curve, social distancing is not something that proceeds linearly. It's not one infects one, then we discarded it. Then another one is self-attribution bias. We overly ascribe success because of our own efforts and failure for efforts of others. I am apolitical. Which president canceled his country's funding for the World Health Organization? I am apolitical. I will not answer that.
We know the answer, but we will refuse to say that.
And this is the reason behind that. He attributes success. In fact, if you go to the news clips, he says he handled it perfectly well. And all other failures are attributed to everybody else except him.
Oo nga.
And then zero-based bias is completely eliminating a minor threat rather than minimizing the risk of a major threat. Assuming you have 10 threats, now you can eliminate threat A completely, but you cannot eliminate threats 2 to 10 completely. You would rather eliminate threat A completely and just bahala na si Batman with threats 2 to 10, even if they represent life and death. Howell, what is an example? Toilet paper.
Yeah.
When you buy
but not in the Philippines.
Not in the Philippines because we use bidets. Right? But the point is this. People think that if they buy toilet paper, they can minimize the risk of whatever germs attributable to that. But they wouldn't follow the protocols for preventing COVID-19. Why? You cannot zero it out. If you wash your hands or practice social distancing, you can still get COVID-19. So zero-based bias says, the brain says, I'd rather be sure. I'm going to stock up on sanitizers, toilet paper, whatever, Pringles, and then all the rest, which represent even bigger risk, I will not pay attention to. So another one is neglect of probability bias. We underestimate that something will happen, and when it does, its negative effects we deem to be manageable. Why is it that COVID happened in China third week of December 2019? Countries took a long time to institute lockdowns. Even in the States, where Dr. Fauci, the lead, and if you're watching CNN,
yes.
Lockdown is the solution in order to mitigate the spread of COVID. There are four states that have not yet instituted lockdowns. Neglect of probability. They think everybody else will get it except us. So in closing, assuming you have a mental block, we've talked about the brain.
Yes.
The brain is composed of many areas. Your vision area is different from your sound area. If right now you're working from home and you have a mental block, the solution is eye movement integrator. We mentioned earlier that the brain is a vision organ. It's not a word processor. Whenever you force your eyes to look at other places, your brain follows suit. So this is what you do.
Oh. What will it do, Coach?
And this is real, no? So take your finger and follow it.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend do it for about 5 cycles. Anything more than that, you puke. What it does, it forces your brain to access the visual sense, and then the kinesthetic sense, and then
Oh.
auditory sense. So you become multisensory.
Wow.
As opposed to if you're just using your visual sense, you're a graphic artist, and you're lacking creativity, doing the eye movement integration will involve the other senses, which will make your brain more productive.
So,
Now,
Coach, this is good for exam before you take your exam or before you do your thesis, or
yes. If you want to maximize the computing power of your brain, to use all of the cores in terms of Intel. Now we're in the 10th generation, 9-core CPU. Before it used to be Core Duo, so you want to maximize all of the batteries. And and remember, we only have 6 things: our 5 senses and self-talk. Self-talk is not a battery; it's a behavioral choice. You want to involve all the senses. So in the eye movement, these are possibilities with your eyes.
So, Coach, how many times shall we be doing this in a day? Or shall we be doing that only when you're experiencing mental block?
I actually have a whole toolbox of things that will rev up my brain. Sometimes I get bored doing it. So if you are lacking motivation, right now, for example, sun is already a rare commodity. We're stuck indoors. So sun is also good for the brain. We'll leave it for the Q&A, but the point I wanted to say is in the possibilities if you use your mind. Your mind determines who you are, what you do, how you behave. And yet most of us know more about how our phones work than how our brains work. Our brain is the CPU or mental computer. Yet we're focused on the keyboard, on the screen, on the mouse. Doesn't matter. You can have the fanciest mouse on earth, but everything you do, all the processing will be done by your brain. So again, Scarf, if you challenge all of these dimensions in another person, that will trigger that person's reactive brain, and he will act in a way that's defensive, which is not beneficial for your interaction.
I agree.
That's why it's best that you are aware. Sometimes one person has a dominant scarf. For example, I know somebody that's very status-oriented, doesn't care for the other. So whenever you meet that person, just focus on status. Now, when you're doing Google Howell and you type in problems in my life, guess what will come out? Problems in my life. But then if you type in, for example, things I can be thankful for, guess what will come out?
That's what you'll find.
Now, guess who are typing the words? You and I. And yet we blame COVID-19. No, despite COVID-19, there are things we can be thankful for. I'm not saying that we go kumbaya group hug, no. But I'm saying you have 5 senses and self-talk. Why would you want to ruin your day by just focusing on problems when you are the one encoding the search words?
So, Coach, this is not, if I understand you correctly, this is not about COVID-19 at all.
It's all encompassing. Beyond COVID-19, COVID-19 is just a good microcosm because it's global, it's very intense, and it's 24/7. But basically, we're saying self-talk is your key, you control it. Carlos Castañeda, an author, once said, the trick is what one emphasizes. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same.
Same.
Yet some people choose misery over strength. I would understand if misery was easier to do, but the amount of work is the same. And remember, if you keep on thinking the same thoughts, neuroplasticity, your brain becomes hardened along that thought formula. You don't have to take goodness pills. You just have to think of resourceful thoughts and put it onto your brain. This sounds like kumbaya, build me up, buttercup. These are all backed up by medical science. Remember Iron Man earlier? Now, Iron Man was not Iron Man before. Before Robert Downey Jr. got the role of Iron Man, he was down on his luck.
Yes.
He was jailed for drug addiction. The only one who stood by him was his wife. He tried to make a record album. It didn't sell. He was in between jobs. Then he decided, similar to the Google, I will change my life. This is something that he shared publicly in an article. His self-talk is, my five senses say I'm hopeless. My self-talk will say I'm going to make something different. And now he is one of the highest paid and respected actors in Hollywood. Our brain craves certainty. That's why in this period of COVID-19, when everything is so uncertain, we're so stressed. In fact, mental wellness will be the next pandemic when the COVID era disappears. We are walking a tightrope that is not even straight, and we don't even know where it's going. I want to share something from you, friends, from my heart. As a friend, not as a neuroscience coach. In Psalm it says, the Lord gives victory to his anointed. He answers from his heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God.
Wow.
And I will not belittle the challenges the world and your household are going through. Where are you putting your trust? Are you putting your trust in chariots? Are you putting your trust in horses? Me and my household, we put our trust in the name of the Lord our God.
Beautiful.
Time is limited. The problem is we think we all have time. We don't. We only have one ticket, one life to live. Make it count. And with that, I thank you all for your patience and time.
You know what? You deserve a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Coach Ben Ampil. That was
my pleasure.
A wonderful 1 hour talk. It feels like you have distilled all your life's experiences for the past 20 years and gave us and poured into us these blessings of knowledge that will change us definitely. Wow. And brace yourself.
If I can respond to that, I really acknowledge the initiative of JM, Anne, and Irish. Everybody's webinars, dime a dozen. Everybody's doing it. But to do this and to try to make the life of people who are stuck at home, make it resourceful, make it beneficial, using their own resources, using friends like you and I am all for it. That's why when
thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sir Coach. Of course, Coach Ben, we're not done yet. And for all our participants, those who are with us with Zoom and LinkedIn and Facebook Live, don't leave because we're just done with the first half of this exciting learning event. Because we'll be back for the Q&A. Alam ko, marami dito. In fact, we're being flooded now with with questions. So brace yourself, Coach Ben. Because we'll be right back for the Q&A. In the meantime, so I'm seeing, thank you, Coach. Clap, clap, clap. I'm seeing how our participants have been appreciating you. Now, so what will happen, Coach Ben and Madam Irish Malonda and all of our participants is that we'll just take a very short break for, water break, sea break, and we need that. But before we even go to our 2 or 3 minute break, we'll have to greet our birthday celebrants. Okay lang po ba? And if some of you are still, at this moment, unable to tell us who is celebrating their birthday, let us know about it. For now, here are our birthday celebrants. Ma'am Isabelita Castor, Mel, Annie, Arubio, and Orti, Austria. Happy birthday to all of you! Happy birthday! Okay, now, so we'll now proceed to the next part of the program, which is the 2 to 3 minute break, and we'll welcome you back. Don't go away. We'll definitely be back. We promise.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
Sorry, hindi ko na po kayo get to speak louder. I was speaking the same with Nina Kong. Yes, sir.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
Welcome back to the second part of our program. This is the Q&A. If the first part have been interesting, it has been interesting to all of you. I'm telling you, this is even more interesting. Why? Because our resource speaker will get to answer your questions personally. But in the meantime, before we go to the question guidelines and acknowledgement of out of town participants, let me know if you can hear us clearly. Wave if you can hear us clearly. Ayan. So for the question guidelines, for our Zoom participants, please type in your questions at the Q&A box. Type in your question. There's the chat box and there's the Q&A box. We'd love to hear from you. So type in your questions at the Q&A box. For Zoom live questions, if you want to be heard, if you want to be seen, we'll be more than happy to hear you and hear from you. Click the raise button to notify us. And of course, we'll give you the platform to ask your question personally. For our Facebook Live viewers, type in your questions on the comment section, and we will try to, and we will do our best. Not try, we will do our best to answer them for you. Now, we also have to acknowledge the out-of-town participants. So okay lang po ba, Coach Ben? Basahin po natin.
Go ahead.
Opo. So, sa ating mga out-of-town participants, maraming salamat po sa inyo. If you think that this has been very useful, we will appreciate your positive feedback. Now, the Neuroscience of our Unconscious Mental Biases seminar, April 20, 2020, Monday. Thank you, Angela City, for sending 4 packs. Bacolod City, 3 packs. Baguio City, 5 packs. We also have from Bukidnon, Valencia, 1 person. Cagayan de Oro City, we have 5. Cebu City, we have 18. Wow, thank you, Cebu, for your unwavering support. Davao City, we also have 10. Dumaguete, we have 9. Dumaguete City. Jensan, 1. Iligan City, 1. Iloilo City, 6. And we also have La Union, 1. Negros Oriental, 1. Olongapo City, 1. Palawan Coron, 1. Pampanga, 15. Pangasinan Dagupan, 3. Siquijor, 1. Surigao City, 1. Tarlac, 3. And Tugigaraw City, 1. So maraming salamat po sa pagdalo ninyo sa ating free webinar. So Coach, are you ready to answer some questions?
Game.
Okay, game na po tayo. So,
game.
From one anonymous attendee, I have been diagnosed by my neurologist of temporal global amnesia. What is your advice to eliminate my stress on this? Thank you.
I would always say that if there's a medical condition, I would be the first to say, please see a medical practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain basic things that we can do, even healthy people, to take care of our brains.
Mm-hmm.
And I use the acronym SELF. S is sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is actually SLEX. Whenever you think of your brain, think of going to the South Luzon Expressway.
Mm-hmm.
SLEX is sleep and exercise.
Wow.
Sleep, actually, our brains are more active whenever we're asleep than when we are awake. That sounds rather counterintuitive, but it's true. And whenever we think, our brain develops toxins, which only sleep can wash away. That's why it's good to be brainwashed by sleep.
It's good to be brainwashed
by sleep, because if you
yeah.
don't sleep, your brain just keeps on accumulating those toxins, which will take its toll. Dementia is a given. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
When.
So it's now a global phenomenon, and sleep is one way to counteract that. 7 to 9 hours, restful sleep, preferably without any medication.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that you can search online about how to do it. And then E is exercise. There's a study that says that 150 minutes a week, that is very, very doable. Mm-hmm. 150 minutes a week is enough to keep your brain active. Now, if you want to really keep your brain energized, an exercise that's recommended is choreographed dancing. Dancing because it keeps your body moving, but the choreography also keeps your brain active.
Mm-hmm.
So hindi pwede yung just dancing TikTok without any sense of direction. Choreographed dancing. And then L is laughter. We are stressed. The news is stressful. We have a lot of pressures. Pressure is actually caused by the neurotransmitter cortisol. It can kill you. And that's why if you have cortisol for an extended period of time, like 1 month because of the quarantine, it hardens inside. It makes your blood vessels hard. So you want to laugh. So may I recommend watch funny film, listen to music that's not heartbreak music, listen to upbeat music, and music in general is also good. And then F is food. Eat healthy food. Sadly, our brain is powered by glucose, sugar.
Sure.
That's why whenever I do a lot of coaching for the BPO industry, and they work Imagine the BPO industry, their sleep patterns are bad because they work on other people's time. So yung S themselves is already down. And then they don't exercise because when they go home, they sleep. They don't socialize because when they're awake, their friends are also sleeping or in the work. And their food is every place that there's a BPO, there's a Starbucks, and no, there's a coffee shop, there's a new stop. So all of the SELF are compromised, and and also it's a stress-filled environment. So it takes its toll. So let's make use of the ECQ. Sleep well, exercise 150 minutes a week is very doable. Learn to laugh. Don't take everything so seriously. There's a saying, don't sweat the small stuff, and most everything is small stuff. And eat food. Sadly, the Filipino breakfast is not a healthy breakfast.
Tapsilog.
Tapsilog is not healthy.
Tosilog.
So, take care of your body. You only have one. It's the vehicle that will take you from here to there. Invest on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Coach Ben. Now, this is another question, and it's for everyone. We've seen how the Filipinos have been polarized politically by the pandemic, and it has brought the worst out of the Filipino people. I'm not saying in general, but most people I know, and most people we know in Facebook, who were once sane, analytical, and emotionally in control, became during and still are now during the quarantine highly emotional, easily hijacked, easily depressed, or at least easily triggered. There are so many people who are easily triggered. How can we help them back? Or if they are these people, how can they come back to their kind self, their loving self, their analytical self, Coach?
Right. I would say always get a piece of chalk, if that's still in vogue, chalk, or a marker, draw a circle on the ground around you, and just tell to yourself, everything within that circle revives. Forget about the others outside the circle. Whatever tension they're experiencing, mind you, you are also under the same tension. Focus on yourself first, self-care, and then just your very presence will exude positivity. Many of the decisions that we see by public figures, by social media commentators, are triggered by biases. We just discussed about 7 of them during this webinar. But biases are a function of the brain. There's this statement that said that COVID-19 is a people problem. It is not a virus problem. Because when you think about it, if the country was honest enough to say they had COVID when they first encountered it, and then everybody pitched in instead of fighting against each other, and everybody just did social distancing, in 1 month we would have eradicated it. Except that we are our own worst enemies when it comes to curing this vaccine. So the question is well-meaning, but I always say focus on the things that you can control of. And the very first thing is look in the mirror. You can control that person.
Thank you so much, Coach Ben. Now, on that note, Belen Nicasio asks you this question. Neuroscience is a very technical term for me, but am I right to say that you are just telling us to be positive because what we think and we create? So is this mainly or merely or simply about positive thinking?
Yes and no. No, because it is a science in itself. I tried to really avoid being jargon-filled during this webinar.
And we appreciate you for that, sir.
But neuroscience could actually be thought of as the intersection of biology and psychology. Biology is the structure of the brain. The brain is very complicated. It has a structure. And psychology is the way we think. So it is where psychology meets biology. So for the psychology part, my question is, why would we want to feel less when we could feel more? Why would we want to feel bad when we could feel good? Again, there are a lot of studies about it. Behavioral scientists go for the rational theory movement, and yet it's been debunked. Rational theory says that man would prefer something good over bad. Man would prefer something pleasure over pain. Yet you and I are exposed to a lot of contradictions on a rather frequent basis. So to the question, I appreciate the question. On the biology part, you cannot challenge how the brain reacts. For example, when you do something socially offensive to me, my pain reactor, that is the one reacting when you hit me with a baseball club, will light up. That is pure biology. You cannot go and write about that. So if I say just take paracetamol if you have a heartbreak, that is born out of biological findings. Now, if you want to keep on choosing unresourceful choices and thoughts, that's well and fine. That's your life, that's your choice. But I tell you, every time your brain experiences tension, it releases what we call neurotransmitters. You've heard of oxytocin. These are if you have a pet, then oxytocin is good. Serotonin keeps you peaceful. A lot of the antidepressant medications sold over the counter deal with serotonin intakes. Dopamine gives you excitement. If you lack excitement, just do something, then dopamine will be released. The thing that I want to be careful against is the release of something we call adrenaline. Adrenaline is good because it keeps you aroused, alert. And cortisol. Cortisol keeps you stressed. Now, if you are alert, aroused, and stressed,
that's a bad combination.
Short while pwede. If, for example, your house is on fire, it will serve you good. It will keep you alive.
At that moment.
If you are in a disastrous situation, the combination of being alert, being aware of your surroundings, being aware of threats will keep you alive. The problem is similar to COVID. We are under arousal and stress 24/7. So comes a point in time it becomes already programmed into our being. And it's not even because we're choosing to do it. It becomes programmed. And similar to COVID, they have not found any medication to cure how you can release extended adrenaline and cortisol easily. So choose your emotions well. You can actually have a choice in it. Like I said, 5 senses and self-talk. Just because, for example, if a question, if somebody raises a question online group, Howell, and that person would say, Coach Ben, I think you are you're the worst speaker I ever met. I would say thank you for taking the time. I will sleep well tonight. I have programmed myself to just value certain people's opinions mean a lot to me. One of whom is sitting beside me now, my wife. So if my wife says I'm okay, I'm okay.
Yes.
Number one, more than that though, is if my Lord Jesus says I'm okay.
Wow.
I'm okay.
So faith has something to do with you being at peace and at the same time understanding. Now, so thank you so much, Coach Ben. So this is not yes and no, positive thinking, yes, but no, it's not just positive thinking. There's science behind it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, Coach, how can we help change the mind of yung mga pasaway na amidst COVID-19 pandemic, nagsasabong, nagsusugal, nagbibingo, mga pitbahay, nagchichismis. You say it's about between security and happiness. So why are they doing that? And how can they have a change of mindset when it comes to thinking about COVID-19 and the ECQ?
We discussed that it's called the probability of bias, probability of getting sick. Some people just don't think they're going to get sick. But I tell you, if for example, one household in that community gets sick, and if you read accounts about how people pass away from COVID, it's a very
Okay.
painful demise. You run out of, it's hard to breathe. It's not
Okay.
a painful way to go.
We don't want
So
that to happen, however.
right, but the point is, let's go to motivation theory.
Oh,
Motivation
yes.
theory is either you go toward a reward or you try to
Mm-hmm.
avoid the pain. They
Mm-hmm.
see reward in just uh, actually a lot of biases. They feel in control. They're flaunting their non-compliance toward the face of the government, toward the face of people who are locked
Mm-hmm.
in. They say, we are better than you. Look at our lot in
Oh,
life. We may not have much, but we have control.
mm-hmm.
Okay. On the other end is avoidance of a risk or a
Yes.
penalty. I would have to say this directly. If there is just one incident which becomes a hotbed in that community,
Mm-hmm.
they will start staying indoors.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Coach Ben. Now, Charlie Yap is very interested in the topic. Ang sabi niya, what book can you recommend, Coach Ben? So I can understand more about the biasing. Thanks. Or better yet, do you have upcoming workshops so
Uh,
they can meet with
yeah.
you?
I'll be posting my contact information before we end.
Mm-hmm.
Public workshops may be a challenge right now because of social distancing. I do extensive coaching. Right now, coaching is easy. I just tell my coachees to wear a headphone because
Okay.
much of the conversation may be private and confidential.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would meet them, but now because of the limitations, it's hard. I wouldn't mind, but my first question to the Charlie, is it?
So, yeah, na-answer na kanina. Yeah.
Right. My first answer is neuroscience is a very broad subject. It has
Mm-hmm.
applications for marketing. It's called neuromarketing. I do talks for financial institutions. It's called neurofinance. How your brain processes risk and reward. I do talks on neuro leadership. Because our brain is the seat of our emotions and decisions. So
I love you when you say that. It's the
right,
seat.
the seat,
It's
right.
the throne. Yeah.
Right. So basically, it's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to recommend
A
something to
book.
start
Mm-hmm.
with, we would have to identify what is his preference.
Okay.
Also, the online resource is rich and it's free and available. Just Google. YouTube has a lot of excellent resources.
Thank you so much, Coach Ben. Anonymous attendee, may I ask, given that we are in an isolated environment or work from home setup with our routines greatly disrupted, how do we address the certain pressure to be productive? Thank you. Pressure to be productive.
Right. There's now a clamor. I've heard this when I attended a webinar. Some people are actually downplaying, poo-pooing coaches, life coaches, because they seem to be obsessed with making people productive during this time of ECQ.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling was
J.K.
one of...
Rowling herself. I do respect and appreciate her perspective. Kanya-kanya. So I would just say if the person is trying to avoid stress, first you have to understand the trigger. What is the trigger of what's the stressor? Right now, cabin fever, being stuck with the same people, with the same things for an extended period of time becomes a challenge. So there's no easy answer because all the answers are obvious.
True.
So whatever makes you mad. For example, my wife and I love her dearly. If I need to be alone, and again we practice stay-at-home wife, I need to be in this place. Just give me 1 hour, I'm fine, nothing's wrong.
So you have a sanctuary in your home, your personal
Yes,
sanctuary.
I hide inside the microwave. Very effective.
What a huge microwave you have in your home.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Coach Ben. Tama yun, ano? Now, Carla Marie de Los Angeles, on a neuroscientist coach's perspective, how does gut feel occur And could we consider them as reliable? Yung, alam mo yun, totoo yun, ano, sometimes parang it seems good but you have a bad feeling about it, so you would rather not do it.
Right. I don't think that's in the realm of neuroscience, though. I understand the question perfectly, but it's not in the realm of the topic that we have at hand. I would go to basic decision making. Your gut is actually diverging. They say that we have two brains, our brain and our gut.
Yeah, I heard about it as well. But we have two brains.
There's a growing amount of study and literature that the gut to our brain. And sometimes we say there's a saying that our gut decides our decision. So toward that, about it, I don't think he's talking about the gut, but intuition per se.
Intuition.
So remember we said something about the E is equal to MC squared. Emotions brought about memories. Intuition is actually platformed on memories. The more memories you have, the more intuitive you become toward a certain predisposed line of action. So if as a child you tend to always go for the high risk, you go for all in, and then grow older, you will be inclined to be a riskier investor, a riskier businessman. Now, is there logic and science behind it? Absolutely none. But whatever works for the person, if it doesn't break any rules, it doesn't hurt anybody, so be it.
Thank you so much, Coach Ben. Now, from Antoinette Odo, what can you advise sa mga tao na hindi makasleep during ECQ because of anxiety and depression?
There's a lot. Actually, as we get older, there's a neurotransmitter called melatonin. It decreases with age. When the children keep on sleeping all day long because when they get born, they're actually overstocked with melatonin. But it diminishes with age. That's why insomnia is a given. You will get insomnia. It does not help also that we have blue light. The light from our cell phones has been shown to reduce the production of melatonin. There are melatonin substitutes. There are melatonin supplements. I don't know if it works. There's actually a slew of what you can do. Take a warm bath, exercise, keep total darkness in the room, do not watch TV. Most of my clients that I speak to regarding sleep disorder it's rooted on stress. Their mind is just super active about how COVID is affecting their future. Some businesses may not survive the lifting of the lockdown. Howell, you and I are in an industry that thrives on mass gatherings, and we have to reinvent ourselves.
We have, and this is what we're doing.
Right, but we are just more realistic to admit that the world doesn't end. And like I said, we have survived 100% of all of our worst days.
And that's a good reframing of the mind. I love that.
So I would recommend to that person sleep on time, meaning there's such a concept called circadian rhythms. It is the body clock it's the clock of our body. It's different from one person to another. If I may segue, Sir Howell, no? The human work schedule is unfortunately contrary to the natural circadian rhythm of the human body.
Okay.
We should actually be working earlier, starting our workday at 5 and perhaps ending our workday
before
at
6.
3. Except that for whatever reason we start at 8 or 9 and end at 5. That is contrary to how our body is primed in terms of alertness, in terms of alignment of our bodily functions. So for that person, take one day to know when is he really sleepy, assuming it's 2 o'clock, and assuming that will not compromise his work schedules when ECQ is lifted. Then build around 2 o'clock. And then try to 3 hours before 2, so that will be 11 o'clock. Take a warm shower, do light exercise, then stop all activity, just lay in bed. Listen to classical music. We are blessed, Howell, right now because our phones, Android and iOS, they're replete with free and complimentary wellness programs. There's an app that I will highly recommend. It's called Headspace. It is totally free and it helps you calm your mind. There are also applications that play on a loop music of nature, birds chirping, waterfalls. That has been shown to lull your brain. The challenge, though, is some of our teens, they sleep listening to Justin Bieber, and that pumps up your consciousness. It does not make you restful. So listen to there. I'm sorry if I speak a lot of jargon. There are 4 types of brain waves, and I don't have top of mind that, but there's one brain wave that is conducive to sleeping. So find that brain wave. You can Google it, and then see for suggested playlists that follow that brainwave pattern.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Ben. We have a pre-sent question. How can I apply this course as a real estate agent? Apply this course to myself as a real estate agent.
Right. Real estate is it's actually a relational. It's a relational industry. It's not like buying batteries that it's transactional. It's normally placed at the cashier. So I would give the acronym SALT. S is you must sell solutions rather than your products. So real estate sells properties. It's similar to when somebody goes to a hardware store to buy a drill, they're actually buying a hole, not the drill. They went there to buy the hole that the drill will make. They're looking for the solution. So S is sell solutions rather than the product. If you locate yourself in this prime area, I'm talking of the particular real estate sector, you will solve traffic, neighborhood is good, appreciation for reselling is high. It's a solution. A is assurance or evidence. You must provide evidence of what you're claiming. This is actually a 10-year graph of the increase in property values. This is a map of the community that shows you that they're populated by high price residents. And then L is you must be likable, and T is you must develop trust. So again, this goes for all types of selling. Solve. S, offer a solution. Don't focus on your product. A, give an assurance or evidence. L, be likable, because even if Howell, if I sell you the best iPhone for a very good price, but I offend you, you will not buy. And then T, develop trust. And again, the industry of real estate is built on trust because it's highly capital intensive, and Filipinos are good with that.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Coach Ben. So how do you help people who are easily offended and those people who are easily triggered and easily angered and easily annoyed?
The question is how not to be?
How do we help daw po yung mga tao na easily offended, easily angered, easily annoyed? So yung mga madaling matrigger.
Right.
Yung little things can anger them and annoy them. How can we help them po?
Right. We have to de-anchor the trigger. You hit it right on the head, Howell. They may have anger management problem. It takes a lot of effort to be angry. People think that it's easy, but it's effortful to be angry. And also, we know that when we express anger towards somebody, two emotions are being involved, the other party and yourself. That person would be thinking that effort is worth it in order for me to antagonize the other party.
Okay.
Sad to say, a lot of our behaviors are rooted toward our childhood. Like I said, I do a lot of coaching, and it's easy once you find the trigger. For example, I had a client that the trigger was auditory or sound. So as long as you're able to change the sound, the reaction changes. And it does not take for you to understand how was your childhood, how was your parent. Just find the trigger and replace the trigger with something that produces resourceful results.
So, Coach Ben, thank you. If I can ask another question on that note, so will it be like opening a Pandora's box if you will try to remember your childhood, how painful it was, how bad you were treated, how badly you were treated? What can you say about that?
I will segue now to another one of my hats. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming is content independent. This is different from the Freudian and the other line of psychology, which is content intensive. They want to understand your past. It's similar to if you're using Excel, the spreadsheet, and you want to change the formula in a particular cell. If you change the formula in a particular cell, every time you run data through it, the formula kicks in. That is like NLP. You just have to remember 5 senses.
Yes.
Our memories are structures. Howell, I'll need you to be a live participant. I promise you this will not embarrass you, even though this will be archived on YouTube. Howell, think of a happy memory.
A happy memory.
You don't have to tell me what it is. Just think about it. You have one?
Yes.
Calibrate 1 to 10, 10 being ultra happy, 1 being so-so.
10.
10, okay? Now, I will not ask about the content. Does it involve a person?
Yes.
Does it involve an object?
No.
Okay? That's all I got, okay? And right now, we are using your emotion of happiness. The one that you had, which I'm totally oblivious to, is rated as a 10. Very, very happy. How can we make Howell happier with that particular memory without changing the reality of that memory? Howell, that person, can you make that person as tall as... where are you now, Howell?
I'm here. Yes, sir.
All right. What's a tall building in BGC?
There are a lot of tall buildings. We have Hyatt here. And
all right. Okay. Can you imagine that person as tall as Hyatt? As tall
yes.
as
wow.
Hyatt. Okay. And assuming that a person is as tall as Hyatt, that person is giving you a lot of good things, flowers, sampagita. So
a hug will do. A hug will do.
What? Sorry.
Hug lang.
A hug. You will get crushed if that person is but basically if you magnify the way you structure your memory, you will magnify the feeling, whether good or bad.
Thank you.
If you diminish it, so assuming Howell that person is as big as Hyatt, then you calibrate 1 to 10.
100 times happier.
Right. So that's what exactly I'm saying, that on neuro-linguistic programming, it is totally content independent. We just have to analyze how your brain has structured the memory in terms of images, sounds, smells, taste, and feelings. We have to rearrange it in a way that will magnify for the person. Now, if you want to negate the problem, you do the opposite.
Yes. Make it as small as you can.
Small, make it insignificant.
Insignificant as you can.
Yeah.
So, Coach, can I tell you who this person is? I want to tell you who this person is.
Does this person go with the title president?
No. This person is my youngest brother who got sick of leukemia at the age of 5.5. He lived with us, and then we celebrated his 7th birthday. Nag-remission siya sa cancer. That's the happiest day of my life. However, he died at 10.5, and that was the most painful day of my life. But birthday of him, when he was still alive, 7 years old, free from cancer, that's my happiest day as a human being. And thank you for helping me with that.
Virtually, I can tell you have a very kind heart.
Thank you, sir.
Now, how will let me take it one step higher? Imagine that feeling of happiness that you have, like a flatten the curve. Try to make it peak by magnifying all the elements, the people present during the cremation, the flowers. Assuming you're at the apex of the feeling of happiness, do something kinesthetically, feeling-wise, that will serve as an anchor. What I teach my clients is to take your right hand and touch your left shoulder. Because it's something unnatural. Do not anchor with the handshake because it's something we do normally unless we stop doing it with social distancing. So whenever you feel like you need to have a spinach like Popeye of instant dose of happiness, just do that.
That would be enough.
And your body, mind-body connection, your body will actually feel like a jolt went through it. And again, I want to maximize the time of our audience. Do you feel any discomfort right now in your body?
You're asking me, sir?
Sorry?
You're asking...
you, only because you're
yeah. You know what? Yung tingling feeling of happiness multiplied by 100 times. That's how I feel right now, sir.
Let's talk about something. Do you have a painful shoulder?
A lower back, 47 years old.
Lower back is the lumbar. It's the S4.
Yes. Okay.
Calibrate in terms of discomfort.
2?
That's kind of low. All right. Now, how will work with me? I want to share to our participants the mind-body connection. Imagine, try to localize where that pain is, that lumbar pain, wherein you calibrated at number 2 out of 10. Okay? And then put it, give me a part of your body that is resilient to pain. Is it your shoulder? Is it
my heart?
Your
heart.
No.
Yeah, my shoulder is good.
All right. Now imagine, work with me, Howell. Try to localize that pain into an object. I'd say a ball. Try to reach it even though you might not be able to reach it. Take it from where it is now and put it in your hand.
Yes, it is in my hand.
It's in your hand now? It is?
It is.
Right. Now, is it your left hand or right hand?
My right hand, sir.
Right hand. Okay, now how will work with me? Get your left hand. The ball of pain is on your right
yes.
palm. Squash it.
Wow.
Calibrate.
It's gone.
Mind-body connection.
Galing. I believe maraming makikinabang dito, Coach. Sobrang galing. So, Coach, I'm so happy that we had this 1-hour Q&A, but one last question na lang daw. One last question, ang sabi ni Madam Irish Malonda Samson. One live. Do we have one live question, Madam Irish? From Jeresa May, one live question. Jeresa May, are you here?
Jeresa.
Sir Jeff, paki-put Ma'am Jeresa May.
Jeresa.
One live question. Ayan, so Madam President. But you know what, Coach, sobrang galing nito. I'm sure that all of us will be able to learn from this.
Is Jeresa around?
So mag-move on na tayo. Wala si Jeresa May. So, Coach, we'd like to thank you. And if I may ask our participants to honor and acknowledge the generosity of Coach Ben. Can we give him a big hand? Thank you so much.
My pleasure, everybody. My pleasure.
Grabe po. So, thank you so much, Coach. Now, so Don't go away, Coach, ha, kasi may gagawin pa po tayo. And the good thing about this is that this will be seen. It will be accessed by everyone publicly on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ayan po. So, tapos na yung ating Q&A. Tapos na yung mga live questions. So, sir, dear Coach Ben Ampil, do you have any last words before we call this a day?
Could I share I'd like to share my last slide, but it doesn't seem to do it. Anyway, something about neuroscience is it is what it is. So, friends, please follow me on LinkedIn. It's Ben Ampil. I recommend LinkedIn because it's very professional, and I have a ton of connections with neuroscientists globally, and I post a lot of applications of neuroscience on LinkedIn. So again, Ben Ampil, just follow me, and every other day I put something that is value-adding and evidence-based. And I want to thank JM, Anne, Irish, Jeff, Howell, from the bottom of my heart, you, and everybody else who took the time from their busy Monday to join us. But more than anything, if you do not mind your mind, you would not be able to manage your behavior. God bless everyone.
Wow, God bless you, Coach Ben Ampil. Thank you so much. If you don't mind your mind, you will never be able to control your behavior. I think that's your tagline, and that's the most important thing about governing the self. Thank you, Coach. And with that,
our coffee when the ECQ is lifted. Coffee is on me.
Excited to meet you, sir, in person. Thank you so much.
Your family.
God bless you po and your family too. Ayan, so there you have it. Coach Ben Ampil, not only is he a humble person, he also is full of knowledge, and he has a heart to share with us what he knows and how he feels, and how he can help us be better human beings. Di ba, Madam Irish Malonda Samson?
Yes, I agree.
Pwede mo palakpakan natin?
I agree 100%. It was indeed an interactive, informative session that was. So thank you.
What was your most favorite quote? Doon sa sinabi ni Coach kanina. Ang dami. Ako yung sinabi niya na, it's not your fault, it's your default.
Wow.
So ingatan natin yung default natin. Ang galing.
Okay.
So ikaw, sa madaming yun, ano yung nagustuhan mo, Coach? Madam
Yun
President.
nga, hindi ko makakalimutan talaga yung Batman, KFC, and
the
scarf.
Galing,
so,
galing.
Tama nga, Coach Ben is right. So kahit matagal na, I will still be reminded of that. So, and also, I'm so forgetful eh. So, magagamit ko the eye movement.
Oo, yung XXX, no?
Yes.
So, thank you, Madam Irish. Thank you, CEO J.M. Atienzo.
Thank you, Sir Howell.
Kuya Jeff, our engineer. Salamat din.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Howell, for moderating our session.
It's a pleasure,
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank
you so much. Yeah. And guys, it's not yet the end of our e-learning session. Please allow me to thank our following win-win sponsor for making this e-learning session possible. Okay, we would like to thank our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine, Focus Media, Globaltronics, City Advertising Ventures, Outcome, Elevate Media. Thank you to our win-win partners, Brother, Faber-Castell, Gluta-C, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, Lotus Disco, Boss Job. Thank you also to CERT Technology Inc., Pinma Properties. Thank you, Parajet, Ilawi Korea, Kitosan and Carpo Consulting, and Enchanted Kingdom. Thank you also to Disperse and Cosmotech. Okay, if you want to place your ads here, advertise your company, your services, have a brand exposure, please do email us at marketing@ariva.com.ph. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. It's Ariva Academy Philippines Inc. Please scan this QR code. It will be directed to our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us. If you have missed our e-learning session today and to watch the replay, please do subscribe at our YouTube channel. It's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. And it's a library of our previous e-learning sessions. So don't forget to subscribe. For our upcoming online learning session, this will be tomorrow. Don't forget to register. Crisis communications in HR, communicating with employees through a crisis. We have invited Ms. Rochelle Anvillo to discuss this tomorrow. Don't forget to register. And on April 25, we have invited Mr. Chinkitan, the sought-after motivational speaker and wealth coach. He will be discussing manage money in a crisis, strategies to manage your money better. And we would like to invite the HR professionals, HR executives, people managers. Please join us at our HR Virtual Summit PH 2020. This will be happening this week. So this is Team Bounce Back HR, Sharpen Resilience for the New Normal World of Work. So we have invited international and local subject matter experts to join us and discuss the sessions. For the first series, this is a back-to-back session. We have invited Mr. Dixon Tang. This will be on April 22. He will be discussing creative human capital in the aftermath of coronavirus. And in the afternoon, we have invited Coach Pia Nazareno Acevedo. She will be discussing emotional resilience strategies during the COVID-19 crisis. For the second series, we have invited none other than the father of modern HR, Dr. Dave Oleg, and in the afternoon, back-to-back, with the global thought leader, Mr. Ron Thomas. This will be on April 23 in the morning session. Dr. Dave Ulrich will be discussing HR's role in crisis, the essential role of HR during the COVID-19 pandemic. And in the afternoon, back-to-back, Mr. Ron Thomas will be discussing HR leadership in a time of crisis. His time is 3 to 4:30 p.m. So for further details, please do visit our website. It's www.ariva.com.ph. Don't forget to register. And if you want to have a customized e-learning session for your company, exclusive for your company, you want to invite Coach Ben, you want to invite Miss Abigail Arenas, Coach Bernard Marquez, and all of the guest speakers that we had, please do email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com, or you may reach me at 0916-695-4418. And that's it. Hope that you learned a lot today. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget to register tomorrow on our e-learning session. This is Irish Malonde Samson giving you in Ariva. It's all about being better. Keep safe and stay home. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.